here to help you. Thank you.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome into the WTIM Morning Show right here on WTIM, your information station. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Today we have co-coordinator Amy Hagan of the Taylorville Food Pantry. How are you today, Amy?
I'm doing great, Tim. Thanks for allowing me to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for making your way back onto the show as school is starting back up. But generally, how are things over at the Taylorville Food Pantry?
You know, I tell you what, kind of some new news. Just yesterday, I'm not usually there on Tuesday mornings for Tuesday distribution, but I teased the fact on last month's show that we were starting a new intake system. Yeah. And that commenced yesterday. Okay. So, you know, the impact of that, as you recall, is the fact that there could be some extended wait times for our neighbors coming into the pantry this month. We are tasked with getting everybody out of the new system out of the old system into the new system by the end of September. So, like I said, anybody that's coming to the food pantry to visit us this month needs to anticipate a little bit longer of a wait time, but we're doing our best. Yeah. Our volunteers are getting trained on the new system and getting very acclimated to the questions that need to be asked and doing their darndest to make that data entry as quick as possible. But just as a notice, and, you know, the overall response that I got from the volunteers that were working yesterday and the neighbors that were there receiving services wasn't too awful painful. We had a number of questions that we were required to ask on our old system that are now no longer required of the new system. And ideally, like with most conversions, you always hope that the information from the old gets dumped into the new. And so it's not much of a burden. But unfortunately, that was not something that we were able to have happen for us. So everything is brand new into the new system. And like I said, it's going swimmingly so far. So
that's great to hear. And we knew that this change, it could bring some longer wait times right there, but also just a lot of information to transfer over there. So you're saying pretty smooth start for that first.
Yeah, exactly. And I had a chance to talk with one of our neighbors yesterday because he said, you know, why are we doing this? And what's the benefit of it? And I said, really, the benefit of it is this. The old system was one that was being paid for by the Central Illinois Food Bank. And it was literally costing them thousands of dollars a month, tens of thousands of dollars a year. And this new system is one that was developed by Feeding America, and there is no cost to the app. There's no cost to the food pantries utilizing the app. And the other thing is that there's an interconnectedness whereby all of the food pantries that make up the Central Illinois Food Bank, of which there's, 200 some, we're all using the same system at this point. So on the back end, it's going to make sort of the data management and the statistics that come from any good system as far as who was served and how many were new and all those kinds of things. The food bank that oversees all 200 of us pantries in our 21 county territory, they are now going to have some metrics on a real-time basis, and it's going to be more meaningful, right? Yeah. Because that information is going to be based on what you did yesterday, what you did last week, what you did last month versus, a quarter ago, a year ago, things like that. So I'm very interested to see, what new data comes out of the system and how we're able to use that information to make changes to what we're doing, who we're distributing, what we're distributing to, and the reasons behind that. So
more organization. It sounds like they're cutting costs right there.
Exactly
what you want to do.
Yeah.
Will you be able to compare Taylorville Food Pantry with the surrounding 200 other food pantries, just to kind of get an idea there?
Yeah, interestingly enough, they haven't really shared what's going to be made known to us through the new system. All I've been told is that there's some new analysis, some new management reports, some new things that are going to come from that. And so I think that will come, over the the months of using the new system. We'll probably get more acclimated, and I'll be able to kind of play around with it and see what exactly is out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the coming weeks here, you guys, just the main point of focus will be entering all people into the new system there until everyone is.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's exactly
Perfect.
right. And like I said, patience is a virtue.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I noticed is that with our old system, we had to ask for quite a lot of demographic information about individuals in the household. And, there's some folks out there in our community that are incredibly generous people, and they will take in extended family, uncles, aunts, maybe grandchildren or friends' grandchildren, all kinds of interesting arrangements to provide housing for people. And a lot of times, we'd ask a question about date of birth or something like that. And if it's an extended family member, I mean, I don't know that I know all of my aunt's birth dates. And I'm not sure you would know that either, Tim. You're young and you're bright. But it's hard sometimes to come up with all that information. And especially if it's your first time into the food pantry, you don't know what to anticipate. And a lot of times we'll hear from folks and they'll say, I need services. What should I bring in advance? And we tell them, what exactly that requirement is, which is literally reside in Christian County. You don't need to bring identification. But when you start asking questions about, tell me about cousin Johnny, who now lives with you, and what is his date of birth? I don't have that information. Right. Okay, we'll bring that along next time. Well, now with our new system, you don't need to know cousin Johnny's birthday anymore.
Sure. So unorthodox living situations, it's more common than we might think. That puts a strain on a household right there. That's more food being needed. Is that something? I mean, you're collecting that demographic information for those reasons right there. Yes,
and that's exactly right. I mean, there's a number of names, I guess, to give unorthodox living arrangements, but the way that I look at it is it's a very generous act. When you're taking in extended family members that would otherwise be homeless, maybe the cost of their medication, for example, has escalated to the point where they're no longer to provide housing for themselves. Wow. And then someone takes them in. I mean, that's a level of generosity that not everyone's capable of.
Absolutely.
And we do have a lot of that in our community. I guess I don't have a specific number on what it actually is, but I know that it exists.
Yeah. Learning all the important topics this morning with Amy Hagan, co-coordinator with the Taylorville Food Pantry. We already got to take ourselves a little break. What are we talking after the break? Hunger Action Month? Is that what you said?
We're going to talk about Hunger Action Month.
I'm excited about that. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. We'll be right back.
Your information station, WTIM.
Hi, this is Mason Crow with People's Bank and Trust, and I'm here to share information about our Save by Spending programs. Save by Spending Roundup, where we round up your debit card purchase to the next dollar and put that change in your savings account. Also, our Save by Spending Rewards program. You can earn cash back on all qualifying signature-based debit card purchases. Call 888-PBT-1954 and learn more about our Save by Spending programs. At People's Bank and Trust, we put you and your savings first. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This month, you're going to hear a lot of big talk about tax breaks.
Just like clockwork, every 4 years.
But one man can look you square in the eye.
This is radio.
Square in the ear. And guarantee a tax break. That's because Troy Jansen at Jansen's Heating and Air is paying your sales tax on any purchase in September.
And when we say any purchase, we mean it.
This month, Jansen's will cover the sales tax on parts, high-efficiency filters, even a brand new comfort system.
You deserve to save hundreds of your hard-earned American dollars.
If you're waiting for the right time to upgrade your heating and air system,
that time is now.
Because through the end of the month, your sales tax is on us.
That's not an empty campaign promise either. This tax break is guaranteed.
We're making taxes less taxing through September 30th at Jansen's Heating and Air. Call 562-5201. JansensHeating.com.
I'm Troy Jansen, and I approve this message.
There's only one Central Illinois radio station that brings you the memories of the 60s and early 70s as you are cruising down the streets of your hometown. The dial position is 98.3 FM. The station is 98.3 WSVZ. From Macon to Vandalia and I-55 to I-57, cruising 98.3 plays the hits from early Elvis in the 60s to the British invasion of the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, and many more from the 1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station, playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power, cruising 98.3 WSVZ.
Summer means it's time to be active. Taylorville Care Center can help you be active this summer with their great therapy program that includes medical care and private rooms. Find out more by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
With over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming weekdays and 2 hours on Saturdays, WTIM AM, FM, and online is your ag information station. Listen by tuning in on air or online and listen to WTIM Ag podcasts anytime.
Your information station, WTIM.
Back here on the WTIM Morning Show with Amy Hagan, co-coordinator at the Taylorville Food Pantry. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, which we are live on Facebook at Taylorville Daily News and on YouTube at WTIM TV. People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark or Stream sponsors there. Amy with the Taylorville Food Pantry, talking to me a little bit about Hunger Action Month, which we are in right now. Pretty cool.
Well, as you can see, I wore my orange today.
There we go.
And I am wearing my pin that says it's Hunger Action Month because September every year is Hunger Action Month. And basically what it is, it's a national initiative with Feeding America. And just to put this into perspective, so the Taylorville Food Pantry is part of the Central Illinois Food Bank, which is, some 200 food pantries in 21 counties. Sure. And then the Central Illinois Food Bank is one of 8 food banks in Illinois. Okay. It's actually one of 200 food banks across the United States. And the Central Illinois Food Bank, being one of 200 food banks in the U.S., is part of Feeding America. Okay. Interestingly enough, Feeding America is headquartered in Chicago. Cool. So Illinois, has always been in the forefront as it relates to hunger initiatives nationally, locally. But we are, as the Taylorville Food Pantry, one of 60,000 food pantries in the United States, which is just this gargantuan number that's a little bit hard to wrap your brain around. Yeah. But we are one of 60,000. And basically the point of Hunger Action Month is that, people are aware of hunger in their community. That basically on September 10th, actually, we do have a Hunger Action Day. And so you're encouraged to wear orange and get educated about the issue of food insecurity. But we want people to know about the issue. We want people to be advocates for the issue, mouthpieces for the issue. We want them to come out and obviously donate to their local food pantry. And we've got many opportunities and ways to give to us locally. And then, if that's not your cup of tea, then just like I said, advocate for us. You can host a food drive. There's any number of ways. One of the activities, which I kind of got a tickle out of, is Friday of this week, there is Thank a Food Bank Worker Day. So I'm imagining just our phones are going to be lit up on Friday with all kinds of kind words from around the community of people expressing their gratitude for what myself and all the other volunteers that make up the Taylorville Food Pantry do in our community to help resolve food insecurity for a number of our neighbors.
Your phone should be buzzing all day long on that day. I absolutely know it. And I do thank you for all your guys' hard hard work over there. 60,000 food pantries across the United States. We did a little Google search on the break there. Just to give you an idea, if you think you see a lot of McDonald's when you're traveling across, 13,000 McDonald's across the United States. 60,000, Amy Hagan. This is an issue that plagues communities all across the nation, and this is the month where you can really give back and really bring recognition to it. You kind of describe some of the ways that we can make it a special month right here. Just hold your own food drive. That seems like a pretty big thing to do right there. But how else?
Yeah, well, we love volunteers at the Taylorville Food Pantry. We are not a closed network at all, and we are open Tuesday mornings from 8:30 to 10 a.m., Thursday evenings from 5:30 to 7, and Saturday mornings from 8:30 to 9:30. And nothing excites me more than when people make contact with me or come in the door on one of those times and say, "Hey, I've got a few minutes. Can I be a part of what you got going here today, next week? How do I do that? I've got some volunteer hours that I want to give because work has given me some time off to do that. If that happens, bring your team, bring yourself. You don't have to come as a team, and you become part of our team because we're all oriented towards, helping feed our community. And that's what it's all about. We've got a lot of people that are very good at raising gardens. And I am not good at raising gardens, but I do have a container garden. And I even brought in some of my tomatoes this year because I couldn't eat that many on my own, and come by and drop those items off during our hours. And we'd love to have you and tell you more about what we do and who we serve.
Absolutely. The Taylorville Food Pantry will make it very easy for volunteering there, and it can check your boxes there for Hunger Action Month. It can be that easy there. And as you said, totally open network. You'll never turn away a volunteer. So it's as easy as calling, even showing up on a Tuesday morning.
That's so true. I mean, you need no specific skills other than just a heart for service, and we will plug you in somewhere and welcome you aboard our team.
Awesome. Amy, we've got about a little bit less than 2 minutes left. Where can we go from here? What else do you want the people to know about Food Pantry this month?
Well, obviously the volunteers are just so critically important to what we do. And I don't know that I take ample enough time in the course of a week, in the course of a shift, to let the people know that do volunteer their time for us. I mean, I'm very proud of the fact that we have 248 volunteer incidences a month, give or take. And that's the number of times someone walks through the door to give, whether it's 15 minutes or 3 hours. Sure. That counts as one. And I feel like we're very fortunate because I talk to a lot of non-for-profit organizations in other places, and they've noticed that ever since COVID, their volunteerism for their organization has really dropped off. And we don't have that problem here at Taylorville Food Pantry. And we are so fortunate to not have that problem because it's a very real issue for a lot of social service organizations. And I'm just so grateful to those who give their hours, their livelihood, their heart, their mind to helping make our organization better. And these are volunteers that are traveling for miles to come get food, to bring it back home to our neighbors here in this community, and we love them for it.
It's inspiring, and it's so needed. 248 volunteer instances is such an amazing number to be at. Amy, I thank you so much for coming in today, taking the time.
Thank you, Tim.
Absolutely. Amy Hagan, co-coordinator at the Taylorville Food Pantry here on our WTIM morning show. Thank you all for tuning in.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville, 96.1 W241 CF Taylorville, 107.5